Good evening,
What
everyone.
is up?
Welcome. For those of you who don't know who we are key players. We like to share insight from our experiences from our almost 17 years ugh, journey, right? 17 years in July. Well, I'm Keisha, and
Wow.
this is my husband, Savalis. And together, we're not claiming to have all the answers, but we've learned a lot along the way that we like to share with you all. We're also Symbis facilitators. That means saving your marriage before it starts. And we're passionate about helping couples thrive. Um, we thank you for joining us this evening, as we always do. We'd like to dive into real and relatable topics. So I'm glad that you're here. Please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Um,
And
so
Instagram
and
and
Instagram. I'm sorry. I'm
yep,
sorry.
yep,
I'm sorry.
yep.
So we're gonna get started for tonight.
We gonna
Hello, say hello. I don't know who's on here. Hey, Dawn. Hey, Lawanda. How are you guys? I hope that you had a great day. It's a Tuesday.
it's a
Mhm.
Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday, but I just thank God for being here. How about that?
Absolutely. And once you all come on, please share this live. As we always ask you all to do every other week that we do come on. Like my wife said, we just glad to still be doing it. Um, we work and we want to come home and get right into it.
We're trying to be consistent.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. We're trying to be consistent. Yes.
Absolutely.
So when you come on, say hello so we know you're here. Please share. Hello,
Hey,
Lawanda. Share as many times as possible. We are on YouTube, we are on Instagram, and of course we are on Facebook. And we're looking forward to another evening of good conversation. Even for those of you all who may watch the replay, if you're not coming on live tonight,
Absolutely.
You can still leave comments because we still see them, and sometimes we may or may not comment, but we still see them. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So before we get started, we just got, you know how we do. We're gonna roll down these announcements or whatever, like we're in church. Before we get started.
So we have been promoting this, and we're going to keep promoting it till there's nothing else left to promote. Our marriage retreat is unlocked, scheduled for October the 11th through the 13th.
Can't wait for that.
Can't wait for that. It's a little ways away, but we're about to like really kick into gear and make sure we're prepared, which we always are. For you all who will be in attendance, we do still have 3 slots available. Like we always say, if you can't make it, share this with someone who may be interested in attending a marriage retreat. This may sound a little weird, but I'm gonna say it anyway. And if you know a couple that needs it, like their marriage may be in a little trouble, this is what they need, And I ain't trying to be funny, but it's just the truth. They may need it. Right. Maybe you don't need it, but you may know someone who does. So share that information with them. You could go to our website, www.keyplayers.com/retreat to register.
And to see what's all included, right?
Yes.
So
exactly.
We're gonna have a private chef. Mm-hmm. You're gonna get a Friday night dinner, mm-hmm. Saturday night dinner, or Saturday morning breakfast, mm-hmm. And we're gonna have key moment sessions, mm-hmm. and we're gonna just have some fun. I can't tell you everything right. we're gonna do, right. but know that you'll get your money's worth.
Yes. And we don't have as many tickets left for this amazing event. I think it's 2 slots left, maybe?
It is, I don't know. I haven't looked, but I know it's really, really, really low. And I'm excited about this. This is my baby, and I'm ready. We got some fun things planned. Of course, Lawanda is the MC, so y'all already know how they get down when we get together. But nevertheless, we have fun things planned. It's going to be informative. It's May 18th, Saturday, May 18th, mm-hmm. at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Knightdale, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. We have the lovely Miss Floriana Thompson, who is an expert in the child care field. I consider her expert. I know that she is. And we have the lovely Miss Kima Shaw, who is a licensed therapist who's going to be talking to us about taking care of ourselves and taking the time we need and valuing ourselves and keeping our mental health. But I can go on and on for days about that. It may be a few more surprises, but nevertheless, it's going to be a great time. Thank you to all who have already purchased the ticket. I really, really, really appreciate it.
And sponsored. Your
And
sponsors.
yes, my
Yes.
sponsors.
Yes.
Trust me, God has been so good, and I'm going to shout that from the rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
So people have been sponsoring me, people that I didn't even expect, and I just really appreciate it. I'm very, very, very grateful that people have sown into this vision. So thank you to all my sponsors. But they'll get another thank you as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's May the 18th.
May the 18th. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm ready. Let's go.
Starts at 10 a.m.
Yes.
This one, get in on this one because the one next year gonna be even bigger.
Oh, it's gonna be bigger. Like I really wanted to go big this year, but
fear.
No, not fear.
Not fear.
No, not fear. It's just I just had to hone it down a little bit.
Why?
Budgeting. Let's keep it
but
real.
Next year,
I'm not cheap.
Next year.
It's gonna be off the chain.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I have plans.
This year gonna be good too.
Yes.
This year gonna be This year gonna be great.
Yes.
But next year it's gonna, I think is when it's gonna start to form into what you really talked about to me and whatever God gave you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's that makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense.
Yeah. This year, we still want you to get your tickets for this year if you haven't. But next year is gonna be crazy.
Absolutely. And the tickets are on Eventbrite.
Oh,
yes, absolutely. So, all right, let's go. Let's get started. So, tell them my topic for tonight, Savalis.
Our topic for tonight is when your love language change.
When your love language changes.
So, now, if you've been married the last 30 years, you've heard about your love language. It has been talked about to no end. Every marriage retreat, every church, every podcast, every live, somebody has talked about your love language. I know when we first started doing this, it was new to us back in 2010. So we were so excited about it. But then you start hearing it everywhere, and then you got it. Now it's great information. But I think we got tired of it. So we really don't talk about it that much, right? I know whenever we bring Keisha on, we don't talk about it so much.
I took a test again, right? So I took one years ago, and I took one again recently
me
just
too.
to see if mine had changed.
Me
because
too.
it does change.
Me too.
So I took one again recently to see if it changed. And I really and honestly thought that it had changed, right? Because I like to do it's different. Like I like to do different things now. But when I took the test, it was the same.
Right.
So my love language is gifts.
Right.
So what was yours? Physical
Mine
touch.
was physical touch. And just like her, I took it maybe a month and a half ago.
Yes.
We did it.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I know mine has changed. But it was still physical touch. So
like the top one. Because you can't have two.
Right.
But like my top was gifts and his was physical touch. LaWanda said hers changes constantly. So I felt like mine had changed as well, right?
I thought mine had changed too. To my surprise, it was the same thing. I was like, really?
And if you don't know what love language is, here's some of the love languages. Words of affirmation is one. Gifts is one. Physical touch is one. Acts of service is another one. I think that's it, right?
Quality time.
And quality time is one. Quality time.
Davida said, where can I find the test?
Davida, let me look and see. I sent it to you. I found a link and sent it to you if I still have it. So, but you can probably Google it too.
Yeah, but the important thing, Davida, is both of y'all need to take it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can see what his love language is, and he can see what yours is.
And for you all who may not know, basically what it is, it describes you and how you like to have love shown to you. Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Am I saying it right?
How you like to be loved.
How you like to be loved. Right.
Yeah,
so words of affirmation. Baby, those glasses look good on you. You're the greatest.
Physical touch. Y'all don't see him touching me over here.
Oh, I did it. I didn't mean to. It's just a habit. Words of affirmation. Keisha, you the best child care provider. You the best wife. Stuff like that. Or gifts. That's self-explanatory.
Right. Exactly.
Quality time.
But it doesn't always have to mean monetary gifts. Come on.
That's true. That's true.
That's what people think, though.
That's true.
Right.
Quality time is. But I hate to use the word time in the definition, but quality time is just spending time with each other. Like, for instance, Keisha and I have started this thing that I am so surprised at how much she enjoys it. Now, the last 3 Saturdays, we get up and go walking downtown, and she absolutely loves it.
I love it.
Love it to death.
Yep.
And we don't do nothing. We just walk and talk
Yep.
downtown. But that's quality time. Acts of service. Keisha, do you need me to stop by the dry cleaners to pick up your clothes?
Washing the dishes.
Washing the dishes.
Right.
You know, the acts of
Vacuuming the
service.
floor. Anything.
Vacuuming the floor. Taking her car, which I have to do to go get a tire put on it.
Right. Exactly.
Acts of service. Physical touch is not just sex. Like the other, maybe a week or two, she came and sat beside me on the couch, and I just started rubbing her hair, massaging her head.
Oh, my head, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, so those are some examples of the love languages. And when you take the test, Davida, and anybody else who's watching this who it'll show you how you like to be loved.
Exactly.
What your spouse can do for you to make you feel loved. So over time, that changes. And what happens is if you don't recognize it, or if your spouse doesn't relay that information to you, you end up doing a lot of stuff in the marriage that used to turn you on, that used to make you feel loved and appreciated, that is not working. And it may cause issues or struggles to come up in your marriage or relationship. The key to that is you got to let your spouse know. First of all, you need to do like we do. Take the test again. We first took it in, 2010? 2019, something like that. That was a long time ago. We have changed a lot since then.
Right. Because that's what people do.
That's what people change.
People change. Right. You go through different seasons of marriage. You go through different seasons. So
you go through different seasons in life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, not just marriage. Like I always joke how when we first started going live, neither one of us had to wear glasses. Now we do.
I have to.
We're in the season of readers.
I have to.
You know what I'm saying? We've gotten older. No, ain't no other way around it. We're grateful to still be here, but we have changed.
Yep. And as you progress, things do change. When you go through those seasons, especially the hard ones, you have to make a choice. Like marriage is about choosing. Like I choose to be with him. Right. So marriage is about choosing. You have to make choices in marriage.
Right.
So when your seasons change, you can't go in it without, going in it with your feelings. Mm-hmm. Right. Because if we based our marriage on our feelings,
right.
I'm trying to tell you right now,
it wouldn't work.
Yeah. I don't know who, how many of us will be married.
Right. I heard a preacher talking about that maybe last week. He was pretty much saying the same thing you just said. Marriage is not about your feelings. And he was talking about how the Bible commands husbands love your wife. It never mentioned how you felt.
Wow.
It never said if she's making you feel good, if you feel like being bothered with her. The commandment was husband love your wife, regardless of how you feel. And that's kind of how you have to approach marriage. You got to move your feelings to the side.
Absolutely.
What are you supposed to do? What is my role as a husband? What am I supposed to do? You got to know
your role too, though. I mean, you know what I mean? You got to know your role as a husband, because some people don't know that.
That's another topic.
All right, that's a whole nother topic. All right.
It's the truth. Well, wait a minute. Wives too.
Oh yeah, I said.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You got to know husband and wives. You got to know what y'all think. You have to know that everyone grows differently. You have to be patient in those seasons, because like we said, you change, and life changes, and people change, and so it's a continuous cycle, right? You both have to want this thing. You both have to want to be in it and understand each other, right?
And like LaWanda said, hers constantly change. Now there are certain factors that can make your love language change. For instance, say when you first met your spouse, he or she was working a 9-to-5 job somewhere or whatever. And somewhere during the marriage or relationship, they decided to open up a business.
Hey,
Miranda. So when they're working their 9-to-5, their love language could have been, I forgot, can you slide up again? Say their love language was quality time, because they had more time because they were on a set schedule. And say that spouse becomes a business owner. Those 9-to-5 hours quickly change when you become a business owner.
Absolutely.
Am I right?
Absolutely.
So their love language may go from quality time to acts of service. Baby, I need you to go to UPS and mail this off for me. Baby, I need you to go make these copies for me. Baby, I need you to help me put these books together for my marriage, my drop-in conference I'm having on May 18th.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate you.
oh, dang. I guess I just volunteered. But so there are certain things that can happen during your time together that can cause your love language to change. The thing is, we have a tendency not to communicate that.
Yes.
We just assume
they ought to know me.
They should know me.
Like, we've been together this long, like, you should know me.
Right.
But that's not necessarily true. Or what if you, like, we've had this now. This right here, I had to, well, I didn't have to, but I chose to. When I was in school, because school takes up so much of your time. Like, when you're in school, I mean, I felt like I was in a whole nother world, you know, because I was focused on that. So I had to literally, I know it was a lot of, you know, changes there in that space. So when I actually finished, I had to, well, I didn't have to, but I apologized to him because I knew that a lot of my time was taken away because of that. I mean, he understood I didn't have to. Right. He supported me throughout the whole thing, but it's just I knew my time was focused on that. Right. So that was a change that we went through. Right. He never complained or anything, but I felt bad. Right. Because I knew that most of my time was with school. Right. So that's one of the life changes that we're talking about. Right. When you have children.
That's a big one.
That's a huge one.
No,
your life is definitely going to change when you have kids.
Definitely.
Not true. Still learning and discovering things about my hubby.
24 years later. That's right. Yep. That's right.
You're going to always learn. Krista, hey, Krista. Okay. How do you handle it when you grow tired because you feel like you're not being understood or heard? Ooh, that's difficult. Difficult in the sense of when you feel, I understand, I've been there, when you feel like you're expressing yourself and it's, well, you got to watch, like, how do you communicate? Like, when you got to set the tone. We talked about that before. Like, you know, maybe change environments or something. It's, you know, it's the sacrifices that you have to do. And you want to be acknowledged, like, you know, you can take this one over because I want to say the wrong thing.
Right. So the part that stood out to me, she said not being understood. So I don't know what it is that you have communicated to your significant other, but maybe you need to change the way you communicate or the method in the way that you did it. Like my wife said, a lot of times getting away from your normal settings can help with conversation. A whole lot more than just being at home, because you can easily get distracted if you're trying to talk in the house. The TV, your phone.
It's a familiar space.
It's a familiar space. Your children, the neighbors, what have you.
But then the other person also, this is what I was trying to say, has to listen to what you're saying, right? You know.
But we talked about this a couple. It's one thing for me to listen, but do I understand what you're saying?
Right.
So maybe you should ask your spouse, do they understand what it is that you're trying to communicate? But say it the right way. Don't say it like, do you get it? Because that could come across as sarcastic or you're being demeaning. So whatever it is that you're trying to relay, if he is not getting it, then you may want to change the way you say it.
I mean, you know your spouse, right? Because there's certain ways that I could come to him, right? I know already how I could come to him, and I got to say it this way in order for him to accept it, right? You know your spouse. You got to butter it up a little bit, you know, whatever you got to do. Right.
Yep. So I hope that answered your question, Crystal. I don't know. I hope it did. But back to what Keisha was talking about when she was in school, something she said that stuck out. She said she didn't have to apologize to me, and she didn't, but she chose to. Right?
Exactly.
I chose to be understanding in the fact that she was doing something to better herself. So I made a choice decision not to make that more difficult than when it was. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. She said it at the beginning of this: marriage is about choices. I made the decision to help her when she needed help.
Yes, he did.
And that was a lot. you know, when she would get stuck, I made the choice to assist my wife. I'm making the choice to help her. I already knew when she told me that she was going to do this drop in. I already knew I'm going to help her. This is automatic, but that's a choice. I don't have to. I can find something else to do that day if I want to. I'm making the choice to be there for my spouse. Acts of service. That's not her main love language, but she's going to need that love language that day.
Absolutely.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Quality time. She's going to need that day. Now, I don't think she needs the words of affirmation that day because this is an area that she knows what she's talking about. She got it planned. It's just a matter of executing it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that kind of goes to what LaWanda would say, where love language changes. You got to be you have to pay attention to your spouse.
Yes.
Now,
like, because that's what I said. It's
Mhm.
continuously we change.
Right.
So you definitely got to pay attention to your spouse.
And if you're not an attentive person, that may be difficult for you.
And I'm not.
I didn't say that.
I am not. Remember when I think you had bought me a whole treadmill or something for Christmas. I didn't even notice it. He had put it behind the couch. I swear I did not notice that treadmill.
When I say it was in the box, it was in the box. I couldn't lay it down because it was too wide. So I just stood it up. I knew she wasn't going to see it. She walked in the living room.
Really bad.
And whatever she was talking about, the conversation, and I was looking at her like, do you not see this? She didn't see it until Christmas Day. I'm the attentive one. You know, I'm the more attentive one out of the two. So
yes,
when you have a dynamic like that, it may be more on her. Like she might have to take extra initiative to notice he changed in this way, or maybe he don't need that no more anymore. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's kind of I can pick up on it a little quicker, but that's just my character.
He's an observer.
That's the word I want. Thank you.
Observes.
That's the word. Observer.
Yes.
Thank you.
He observes a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's the word I was.
We talk about stress can change, careers, bills,
health.
Especially for health.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely health. As you get older, trust me. We've all heard that,
mm-hmm.
but I am living that. Okay.
Right.
Right. Not that I didn't believe it.
Right.
But I'm living it right now. So your health can change.
Your health can change.
Right. As you get older, we know this.
Mm-hmm.
And just taking your spouse for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which we all have a tendency to do from time to time.
Right.
We've all been guilty of that.
Right. And marriage can become mundane if you let it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It can become mundane if you let it. So with the love languages, people do change. And as long as you express that and your spouse receives what you're trying to express and vice versa,
mm-hmm.
you know, that should, help.
One of the big keys is you got to let your spouse know when your love language changes. That's important. And but before you let them know, you got to recognize it in yourself. You know, your mindset can change as well. Exactly. Yeah. You got to let them know, or you got to realize, you know what? I don't like that the way I used to, or I like this and I didn't used to. So, like I said, when we took the test, I just knew for a fact quality time was going to be my number one now, but it's not.
I thought so too for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it changed for me as well.
And I think it's still gifts.
Yeah, it's still gifts.
Yeah, and mine is still physical touch. And I guess I thought it was going to change because we spend so much time together that we enjoy, So I was like, oh, I know it's going to be quality time, but it wasn't. But if it had changed, we discussed it. She took the test. I said, well, let me take it too. And then we just sat and talked. Oh, I think we was over the phone and we discussed it. But the key is we talked about it. It's not fair for your love language to change and you not let your spouse know, because they're going to be loving you the wrong way. And loving your spouse the wrong way can be a waste of time, could be a waste of money, could be a waste of energy, and could cause unnecessary issues in your marriage.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And then you got to start checking yourself, like, the spouse like, okay, I know I don't need this is what they liked, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. You asking for an argument.
Absolutely.
And it's probably gonna happen.
Absolutely.
Because that person gonna probably, like, say if gifts were no longer her love language, and I came home with whatever, or had sent whatever, and then she didn't give the reaction that I'm used to, then I'm gonna feel some type of way. What'd you say? That's
good. Quentin said, just like certain foods you used to love, now you don't like it no more.
Perfect. That's the perfect example. What we don't like it no more? Oh, or restaurants.
I like to eat, so I
like when we first got married, we used to go to Carrabba's a lot. We hadn't been there about a year or two.
They fell off.
Your taste buds change.
In my opinion.
Yeah, they kind of fell off. That used to. Oh, let me go even further.
Maggiano's,
yes. Golden Corral. We haven't been to Golden Corral in probably 6-7 years, maybe.
No, longer than that.
Longer than that?
Yes.
No.
Yes. For us.
Yeah. For us now. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying we changed.
Yes.
And what we like changes. And that happens in your mind. That happens in marriage too. What you like changes.
Mhm.
And your spouse has to be, like Keisha said, receptive to that. You know?
Yep. Your spouse has to understand. They have to, and then like for me, I had to check me. Like,
What you
okay,
mean?
I just have to check me. Like, okay, have anything changed? Like, changed in me? Is what I'm
Right.
trying to
Okay.
say.
Okay.
Like, I have to check me to make sure that it doesn't reflect off of you. Not I'm
Right.
taking it out on you.
Right.
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 So,
Because that can't happen.
yeah.
And
Absolutely.
then your spouse is going to be clueless. Like,
Absolutely.
bringing home a gift used to work. Why is it not working now? Then you just open the door up to you thinking, well, is it someone else? Or is it me? Does she or he not love me anymore? Just let them know, you know what? I'm cool with the gifts. I would prefer if you wash the dishes.
But the spouse has to be receptive to that.
Right. Right. That's where communication and comprehension come in.
Exactly.
And we will never say communication is key without saying comprehension right behind it, as we've learned, as my wife brought up, which was just brilliant.
Because you have to understand.
You got to understand what I'm telling you. Always, it was just a bunch of gibberish.
You have to understand what your spouse is telling you.
So if you all have not taken the test, or if you have taken the test, I would suggest you do it again.
Right. Google it. I think you can Google it and do it. But somebody sent it to me. So that's what prompted me to retake the test again. Mm-hmm. And there's a book that goes along with it. I'm sure they sell it on Amazon.
Yes, it's written by Gary Chapman.
Yes.
That's the author. I'm telling you, if you haven't done it, which most people we know have taken the test and read the book, it is eye-opening. Now, here's the thing. I was reading about it today now. Some therapist, well, it's not backed by science. It may not be, but it's true.
What?
It makes so much sense.
It does. And it has saved so many relationships, I'm sure.
Yes.
We have the book. Oh, okay, LaWanda. We had the book, but I don't even know what happened to the book.
I haven't seen that book around here in years.
We had the book, but it will help you better understand your spouse.
Mm-hmm. It'll help you better understand yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you take it, I don't know why physical touch was mine. Well, now, at first, it was just about sex. Let me be honest. So let me be honest.
Please.
So first, when I first took it, I'm quite sure it was just sex related. But now that we've been together married almost 17 years, sometimes the physical touch is just holding hands. Sometimes we lay in bed, going to sleep, holding hands. We do that a lot.
Yeah.
No sex comes after that sometimes.
Yeah. Quentin said compromising is the key to all relationships.
That's goes back to what you said earlier, making the choice. Compromising is making the choice to do something, even if you don't want to.
And it's a lot of compromising in marriage.
A lot of compromising in marriage. I had to learn, to be quite transparent. That's one of the reasons I was fearful of marriage, because I didn't like to compromise.
Because you must admit, you were what when we first, but you're not anymore. You definitely worked on
stubborn.
Selfish.
Oh yeah, selfish. Yeah. Very selfish. Yes. I was selfish, and I did not like to compromise. So that was one of the reasons why I had made up in my mind, I'm not getting married.
And that was tough, right?
That was
because
tough.
I'm not selfish, right? Well, I couldn't be because I had,
children.
I had children, and so I couldn't be. I had to share myself with two other human beings, right? So, but he only had himself when he came into the relationship, right. So I think that was one of our hurdles that we had to cross over when we first got married.
Interesting question. LaWanda said compromise or give in. What's the difference?
You asking her?
Yeah, I'm asking. I'm asking the audience. I'm asking you. I'm asking everybody. What's the difference between compromising or giving in? Isn't it the same thing? Because compromising is giving in. Now, what happens when that can become a problem is if you're the one who's always doing it.
That's what I was gonna say. Right.
Yeah. That's not compromising. When you're the one who's that becomes selfish on the other person, whoever it is that's always expecting you to compromise, and manipulative and controlling.
All those words.
All of those.
Right.
All of those words.
Compromising to me is a two-way street, especially when you're married. You got two people.
Mhm.
right? And nobody's perfect.
Mhm.
So you compromise, here and there. The one that
Good
says she's
question.
stubborn, not selfish.
What right? Where it's supposed. See, for me, back to the me being selfish part. I thank God that I had enough sense to realize that I couldn't stay selfish.
Yeah, because that wasn't gonna work.
I couldn't stay not compromising, especially when there were children involved.
Yes.
Yeah, not even my wife, that too. But you can't, to me, be a good parent and be selfish. You can have your moments, but every day, no, it wasn't gonna work. It
As
wasn't gonna
men,
work.
Quentin said, sorry, but as men growing up, we had to be a certain way. Like we couldn't be emotional, and we had to be strong-minded individuals.
Right. But it was even worse for me because, like she said, I had no children and I hadn't been in a relationship in a while. So add strong minded on top of not wanting to compromise and being selfish. I had some work to do.
And you know what, y'all? It was
No.
And you know what? When we were dating, I picked up on it, but I didn't pick up on it.
Mhm.
Right. So I saw little signs of that, but I didn't quite know what it was. Right. Until after we got married, I was like, oh, I get it. He's selfish.
Right.
Right. He wanted me, and this is not in a bad way, but he wanted me to himself.
Right.
Like a lot of me to himself.
Right.
Not understanding that I was a business owner, I was a parent, a daughter. I was being pulled on, even though he was the first, in my life, but he didn't feel that way.
Right. Now, the flip side of that is she had to learn that I'm now a wife.
Yes.
Because it was okay.
I did.
Yeah. She had to learn I'm a wife now. So I had the most, well, I ain't gonna say the most, but I had some changing I had to do too. But she had to learn, okay, I'm a wife now. So whoever was my priority after God, that has now been taken by a husband.
And that was hard. That was extremely difficult for me.
Yeah, that was difficult. And the other thing it was difficult, if you don't mind me saying,
no,
I think was difficult for her is because she had been married before and that didn't work with the other one. I did that before. And I think she was reluctant to give of herself in that way because it hadn't worked with the other joker. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So there was some hesitancy there. Like, look, I don't know if you put him first or not, but it wasn't the same. No. It just wasn't the same. I just leave it at that. So yeah, so I had some change to do, but if you get married and think you're not going to have to change it, I don't know if you're going to have a successful marriage.
You're going to constantly change.
You're going to constantly have to make changes and compromising. But like LaWanda was saying, you can't be the only one always doing that.
Because that gets really old.
That will get old and that will come across as manipulative and controlling, and it's going to wear thin on the other person. So that has to be a two-way street.
Because the other person's gonna be like, "What I do now? I don't even." They're gonna say that to themselves, like, "Okay, well, they always mad or they always whatever. It is what it is," and then that's gonna leave a door open for something else to come in, right?
Mm-hmm. We try to keep as many doors shut over in your marriage as possible. Try to keep as many doors shut as possible. Because it don't take much these days. Because people don't have the same regard. I know we may have gotten off topic, but I'm telling you, people don't have the same regard and respect for marriage as they used to.
Nope. They go into it already concocting a plan. If this don't work, then I can get out of it.
Yeah, we talked about that a couple of months ago where the mother had instructed the daughter to always have you some side money just in case you got to leave. I think that is horrible.
Well, listen.
You will never convince me that that's a good plan to have. I think that is terrible.
For a rainy day.
No, that's not what that live we did was not about a rainy day. It was about having a rainy marriage.
Well, a lot of us have been taught that though.
I'm not saying it's wrong. It is wrong to give that advice. Put you some money to the side just in case. I just think that's horrible. Kimberly said this is helping me. Well, thank you, Kim. Our being tired and hungry is worth it.
Because I sure am hungry.
We both. But I just think that's horrible to go into a marriage saying, okay, let me go ahead and put this to the side just in case this Negro act foolish. I think that's wrong. I think that's a terrible recipe to add into
And then
your.
you know what? Not saying it. That just hit me. Not
Uh-oh.
some what he just said. Sometimes we don't say it out loud. We
Mm.
internalize that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So sometimes we don't speak that with our mouth, but
We speak it with our actions.
Yes, we speak with our actions.
Like we don't.
Ooh, I just
we
got
did-
free. I'm guilty of that. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say it. You beat me to it.
I am guilty
Like,
of that.
Not being open about finances could be an indication of that
Yes.
without
I'm
you even
so
realize
guilty
it.
of that. I am
Yep.
so guilty of that.
Yep.
Right? But I'm getting better, y'all.
Yes.
I'm getting better.
I will applaud you.
Yeah.
You are getting better.
I'm getting better. But it's not a plan for me, though. It's not a plan to leave.
You don't think it is.
It's
but it's a
not.
security. Really?
It is a security thing, but
Right.
it's not a plan to leave, right? LaWanda said better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
LaWanda, that's a good saying if you're selling insurance. We're talking about marriage. I think that's terrible.
She sure did. Kim said
What?
she never let my mama said she never let your right hand, I think that's what she said, know what your left hand know what your right hand is doing. She did.
That's great information, but not for going into a marriage. I'm sorry. Because if we are married, we're supposed to be one body. I own your right hand and my left hand are the same.
And see, I agree with you in that.
Yeah, I hear butt coming.
No. Okay. It's not a butt. It's not a butt. I agree with you in that sense. Like, yeah, we learned a lot of what you call those
Wrong things.
No, not wrong things, but what you call them? We had a lot of those sayings. We learned a lot of those sayings, right? And so in my adulthood, you know, when you think back on it, you have to detox from those things, right? Right. If
That's
you heard that
that's
for
good.
18 years
That's
growing up,
that's right.
You have to kind of detox your mind because that stuff is embedded in you, and
That's
then
right.
you are bringing it into your relationship.
That's right.
Then you wondering like, okay, why are we having these issues? Just, you know what I mean? Not realizing that you got to sit back once again, like I said, and take a look at yourself.
That's right. LaWanda said, I guess it's a girl. Yeah, I would agree.
It is a girl's thing. It's generational.
Mm-hmm.
It's generational. I don't know if I was going. It's not a curse. I wouldn't say a generational curse, but it's generational.
What's another word for curse?
I don't know, but it's generational.
Yeah.
We are supposed to be as one when you are married. You're
exactly
correct.
So
you're right.
What the left hand is doing, I should know what your left hand is doing, your right hand is doing, your left foot, whatever.
Yeah.
If you take that mentality, I just think I'm gonna just say I don't think it's healthy. I'll just say that. Yes, our grandmother, yeah. And that's because granddaddy was doing some stuff he wasn't supposed to do. But it all stems from how you were taught. They were taught wrong. But if you know better, you do better.
Right. That's why I just said like it takes years to detox that stuff out you. Right. But you have to put forth a conscious effort.
Right.
Right. Choice. I've been doing the work in me.
Right.
And so that was one of our things too when we first got married, you know. That was one of our things too. Like I didn't realize it, but until he started telling me, my son started saying it to me, right? And so I had to say, well, look, let me just sit back for a minute because I was like, I'm good, I'm right, I'm good. But when other people start seeing it in you, then you do have to take a look at yourself.
Right.
So now I am doing it's not completely gone,
but she's gotten better.
But I've gotten a whole lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I know that I've gotten better. So
that's the way I was raised, being a righteous man.
Yeah.
But see, you know, there are certain things that we all were raised with that are good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are certain things that I was raised with that was good. Certain things Keisha was raised with that was good. There are other things that we may not be able to take into our marriage.
Right.
That we were raised with. It may have been good for that season, but you're in a different season now when you get married, and you have to decide, is this going to work for me? What does that say?
Because it might have worked for your parents or whatever, but
exactly
it may not work for you, right? So LaWanda said, yep, I had to detox some things that was important to me growing up.
Right. And it may have worked in the house, you know, like Keisha said, when you with your parents, but doesn't, like, for instance,
I don't know if it worked then. I ain't
not just that. Maybe that didn't work, but there are other things that work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've said this a million times. I had to, when it comes to the holidays, and I had to detox from what I was used to, you know, and that's a great example because that was the issue. I had to detox. Well, this worked for my family, doing Thanksgiving and Christmas. This not gonna work in your marriage.
Mhm.
So I had to detox myself from that. I had to detox myself from what everything my parents did work for their marriage, which it has, but some stuff I had to take away to make this work and add for that matter. You know, some stuff you got to detox, some stuff you got to add on. You got to develop a habit.
Mm.
Yeah, you got to
That's
develop
good.
a new habit. You detox from the old habit and you develop a new one
That works for you.
that works for
or
you and your spouse.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But it's all about, like Keisha said earlier, you have to make the choice to do that if you want peace. And I love having a peaceful home.
Yeah.
Love it.
You
Love
have
it,
to
love
make
it,
a
love it.
choice, and I mean that's hard. Like
Yeah.
really detoxing is hard
Mm-hmm.
because that stuff is instilled in you, and it's like really hard. You have to make a conscious effort and a choice, like we was talking about. Yes, for example, being single, you have to take care of number one.
Right.
But with a wife, you have to take care of hers as well.
That's a great example. Great example. And then if you throw kids in the mix, you know, like for me, I took on a wife and 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it was no way I could stay selfish and that work. And we still be
It wasn't gonna work.
It was not gonna work.
Nope, it was not
Won't gonna work.
because the shit was selling over here.
Coming
I'm
home.
saying as far as I had the stuff rolling, you know, I had a routine.
Even that had to change.
Yeah. And that was hard for me.
That was hard for her.
That was hard for me because I was so used to being in control.
Right.
Right. I was so used to making decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he came in the mix, I just thought he was just going to roll with what I was deciding. But I had to learn how to let the reins go.
Mm-hmm.
And that was extremely hard.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you feel like it's been working.
Right.
Right. Like, I've been running this shit by myself.
Exactly.
You know, now you want to take over the steering wheel? No. Now, I'm not saying that she was doing bad, but there were just things that had to change in order for us to become a unit and become one. You know, there were certain things I brought that she needed, and there were certain things she had that I needed. And it's just facts, you know.
But we had to work through that.
We had to work through it.
You know,
it takes time. We didn't give up. We didn't say, you know what, no.
Now, wait a minute. We almost gave up one time. We came close.
Yeah, year 2 was rough.
Ooh,
I don't know what it was about year 2.
It was a rough.
Year 2 was rough.
But nevertheless.
That was a bad year. That
right?
was like, what?
Yeah.
That was a rough
Because
year.
I think that's when we started, like, okay.
Settling into our mindset was like, this how it's going to be. I got to do this.
Exactly.
I got to do that. What?
Exactly.
Come on. I'm used to coming home. I don't want to go to no PTA meeting. I don't want to go meet the teacher, you know, stuff like that. I don't want to cook. He can cook for himself. You know, it was hitting like, you know, the honeymoon phase was ending.
Ending. But we made it through.
We made it through year 2. And then, you know, we start smooth compromising.
Yes, changing and recognizing each other changes and say, okay, well, maybe I can do this. This is not too much for me to do this, right? If he's asking me to do this, this is not too much for me to, you know.
And then one of the things I think that helped us is realizing that our marriage wasn't just benefiting us, it was benefiting other people who were coming into our lives that we were meeting, other couples, family members, our children being able to see us have a compromising, peaceful household, because your marriage, like we are, it's not just about you. And when we start realizing that, then it's almost like for those of you who fly, when you take off and then the plane ascends and then they go in, what it is going in a circle and then you feel it move again. And then when you get to that, however many feet, it plateaus out and it's just smooth sailing. And I feel that's where we are now.
Right.
We at our 30,000 foot mark.
And I had to realize that I couldn't change him and he couldn't change me.
Right.
Like we had to want to change ourselves.
Right.
Because I think that's where a lot of the head button come in when you try to change your spouse or your spouse try to change you.
And I know we've gotten off topic, but it must be for a reason. And one of the reasons why we want to do that is because I'm gonna say why I did it. I wanted her to be like me. That's the dumbest mindset I probably could have had, because being married to me wouldn't have worked. Me marrying me,
and I wanted him to be like me. I'm like,
vice versa.
Look, come on, when we gonna get this done? We need to get this done. Like let's you know.
Or she wanted me to panic when she panicked.
Yes, exactly. because that's the way. I mean, I'm like, that shows me that you care. That's what was in my mind. Like, okay, you ain't gonna do nothing about this. What we doing? I need you to do a plan of action. That was me though, right? That's what I wanted,
right?
But he had a whole nother way of doing it,
right,
in his own way. But I was trying to intervene and take control and not let him do what he do.
Mm-hmm.
So that caused a lot of issues. Quentin said, with my wife being a single mom of 3, before I came along, she was used to making decisions on her own, like me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came into the picture, she had to adjust to us making decisions together. And Quentin, how was that for y'all? Because we talked about how it was for us. How was that? If you don't mind sharing, I don't want you to put your business out here. But how was that for y'all? Was that difficult, or was it an easy transition?
We had to work through that for us.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
We had to work through that.
Well, I should say Keisha had to work through that because she was the single parent of 2.
Yeah.
So, and she had made all the decisions,
Yeah.
And I don't think it was disrespectful, but it will come across that way. If somebody is watching that, if you just making decisions, if you're in this situation and not consulting your spouse, it can come across as disrespectful. But what it is just what you used to doing.
Right. And then I would get mad with him, not mad, but I would get a little mad with him and start getting bitter towards him because I'm like, what? Come on. But I wasn't letting him make no decisions.
Right. She wanted to make the decision, decide, and then wanted me to jump on board with what I had no part in.
Exactly.
And deciding, because I would have done it a different way, maybe,
But it probably wouldn't have been a way that I didn't approve of.
There you go.
But this is the thing. Yep. I had to check I had to learn to check myself about that.
That's right. That's right.
That was one of the hardest things too. Doing
check
that.
Yourself.
No, just letting you just, trusting. I trusted you enough to marry you. Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So why would I trust you to make decisions?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. It was rough. Yep. At first, but as time went on, it smoothed out. Eventually, it did that. What would you say?
Plateau. It plateaued. Yeah.
It plateaued.
Yeah. Now, a recurring theme from what Quentin said, we're talking about rough moments we had, but notice we still together. Quentin and his wife, they still together.
Absolutely.
You are going to go through rough patches in your marriage. It is inevitable.
Yes.
But we didn't stop. We said we had a rough year, our second year, so that would be almost 15 years ago. Yep. We didn't quit. We didn't leave.
Right.
We kept on moving, because it's part of the process. You're going to go through rough patches.
Kim said that sounds like me. I can admit it. But the hard work begins now, Kim.
Once you admit it.
Once you admit it, no, it's more than just admitting it. You have to actually take some steps.
Right. That's right.
And that's the hard part about it. Because you've been like this for 30, 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's the hard part about it is actually taking those baby steps and changing to make them big steps.
Mm-hmm. You know what I think another hard part is just admitting you are wrong about something, or admitting I need changing in an area or two.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Because for you, the single, there are a lot of things that I did as a single person that worked for me. When I got married, it wouldn't. It had to change.
Right.
For both of us.
One thing about it was we had to adjust to each other's lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And for us, that was huge because he moved in, being that I had the business, right? The daycare, and it was in my home. He moved in with
it was in our apartment.
He moved in with me, right? Because it was just easier that way.
It made more sense.
Right? But we didn't move in until after we got married. That was a choice that we both decided to do.
Mm-hmm.
But he moved in, let me tell you, that was, we had to do some major adjusting there.
Right.
And that was hard too, but so I understand.
Yeah. But it was worth it.
It was worth
That's the thing. She was worth the changing I needed, and obviously I was worth the changing that she needed to do.
Yes, because we changed. We talking about disciplining the children, or setting the tone of the house, structure of the house, and stuff like that. And I was more lenient.
Yeah.
Right. So I was very much.
Zion was, when I first, he was like 17 months, staying up to 12 midnight. I
don't remember that.
I do, because I was on the phone. I was like, he's still up. That makes no sense. So I was like, once we got together, I'm like, we got to have a little bit more structure. When it comes to these children, they need to get their rest. They don't need to be up 11:30, 12 at night. Both of them's IKEA, need to go to bed. Need to make sure homework is done and all that kind of stuff. But that's what they needed. They needed the structure part from me, and what I needed from them was being able to let loose, being able to compromise, not be selfish, as I've spoken before.
Patience.
Be patient.
Yes.
I needed that from them, so it was reciprocal.
Absolutely.
We needed each other. Trust me.
We definitely.
We're a whole lot more better people with each other, and that's one of the things sometimes we don't realize. I'm so much better with her. Facts. And she's so much better with me.
We grow together.
We grow together.
And that's all that matters. We don't got all the way off.
We got way off our topic of
love
language and changing of your love languages, but this
it must have been for somebody.
It must have been for somebody. So Yeah. I don't know how we ended up on all of this, but it was needed, obviously, for somebody. So
remember, as you go through the seasons, that you're going to change. Yeah, get back on topic. As you go through the seasons, you're going to change. It's a choice. Marriage is a choice, right? You choose to stay married.
Mm-hmm.
So
you choose to stay
people
married.
Going to change because that's life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like we said, bills, stress, children, what else? Age. We're learning that all too well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's easy and you can lose yourself.
Right.
But the thing is, you have to make a choice to first you have to express those changes to your spouse.
That's what I was going to say.
And your spouse has to be able to comprehend them.
Make it clear.
Right.
In whatever way that they can accept it. Make sure you give it to them so they can comprehend it, not what you think they should understand.
Absolutely.
Make sure you give it to them in a way they can understand it. Because it's not fair for you gonna change. Fine. Let your spouse know this doesn't work for me anymore.
And if you feel like it's getting boring or mundane, change up your routine.
Do some things different.
Introduce new stuff. Spice it up. I don't
what
know.
We talking
do
about?
Something.
Oh, that sounds like another topic.
Do something.
We haven't talked about sex in a while, but we'll say that for another
plan
night.
Something together.
That's good.
Just like he said, we've been walking now downtown.
On
and
Saturdays.
Actually, if y'all want to join us, you can. It's early in the morning, though.
Yep, we normally get down there around 10:30.
Yeah. Or earlier. I think we went earlier last time. But, I just woke up one morning and I was like, Sabalas, let's go walking downtown.
Right.
Because first of all, I need to get the exercise.
Now, see, I walk during the week. See, this is where compromising and making a choice.
Yeah.
I go to the gym anywhere from 45 days in the morning.
And
I get my steps in.
What?
But my wife wanted to do something with me.
Yes.
I made the choice to get up because Saturday is normally when I sleep a little longer. She wanted to get up and go walking. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Let's go. And it's been great. Great.
Hey, First Lady.
We go, all we do is talk and walk. She asked me, how many steps we got now? Are we doing good?
Saturday, we did 10,000 steps.
Over 10,000.
Over 10,000 steps downtown.
We started on Cabarrus Street. We ended up all the way over there by Central Prison.
Yep.
And made our way back.
But I didn't even realize it.
Right.
Like I didn't even know we had walked that far.
Right. Just something new. Something simple.
New.
You get quality time in there.
Exercise.
We say things to each other. Exercise, some words of affirmation, physical touch.
Lots of conversation.
Good stuff too. Real good stuff.
Look, we don't notice restaurants we've never noticed downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Like found some new spots, y'all.
Yep.
That we got to try out first, and then I'll let y'all know about them.
Right.
But found new spots and new spaces.
Mm-hmm. Just by getting up and walking.
Yep. So change your routine.
Yeah. Change some things up. Do something you don't normally do. I can say since I've been with her, I can't even go it'll take another hour for me to list all the things that I didn't used to do that I now do. But that was that is one of the beauties of being married to the right person.
The right person.
The right person.
Absolutely. That's my wife. I tried to sleep late on Saturday, but she's up 6 a.m. No, get up at 6.
And wants to talk and exercise. Well, not that early, but yeah, like I said, we normally leave here around 10:30, we get downtown
Yeah.
and we just take off walking. So
Because downtown, it's hilly and it has a lot of buildings and they're building and stuff. So it doesn't feel like that you're exercising because you're
True.
like, wait, when they put that there or what's going up right here?
Right.
So it doesn't feel like you're exercising. And before you know it, you have walked like a long ways.
Mhm.
I don't even know how many miles that was.
I don't either, but it was good. And even though I do walk on the treadmill,
It's not the
walking
same.
like in there, it's just different. It doesn't even, we had knocked out an hour and a half and it hadn't even seemed like it.
Yep, absolutely.
Just spending that type of stuff grows your marriage. It strengthens your marriage. If it's not walking, find whatever it is you do. Maybe cooking together, or what else?
Eating together. I don't know.
We do enough of that. Eating together, or going to the museum.
Jump on a train. That's what we did one day.
And it's time for us to do that again.
Right, just out of the blue.
Mhm.
Right, us and some more couples. We got a train ticket. We went to Charlotte. We went into Charlotte, caught a train to Charlotte, spent the day in Charlotte, got back on the train, and came back to Raleigh.
Same night. Then
Had a
went
good
out.
time.
Yep.
Had a great time.
Yep. We gotta do that again.
Right, we hit a couple rooftops and we went to the restaurant. Right,
Yep.
and just it was love. It was love.
Yeah, we gonna hurry up and get off. We say marriage is hard, but a lot of times we make it more difficult than it has to be.
Absolutely.
We make it more difficult than it has to be. Sometimes you're not putting in it what it needs. That's why it seems hard. Now you'll put in your business what it needs.
You'll
put in your family what they need, your job, your children.
I know you was gonna say
that.
that.
Yeah, you'll put into them what they need, but you're not willing to put into your marriage and your spouse what he or she needs. So of course it's gonna be hard. If I don't put gas in my car, it's gonna be difficult to drive as far as I want to go. Eventually it's gonna run out of gas and then I'm pushing it. So that is gonna be more difficult to get up. That's going to make it more difficult to get to my destination if I don't put in it what it needs. If I don't put the proper maintenance into the vehicle that it needs, it is going to be more. It's going to drive harder. If I don't change the tires, it's not going to ride as smooth as it should. Now, who is that? Or tune up. That's on you. You're not putting in what it needs to make it a smooth ride. So put them children to bed. Get you a babysitter. Tell your mom and daddy, not this weekend. Tell your business or whoever, get you a business partner. Take a day off work.
Or get you an accountant. Or
get you an accountant.
Keep your books.
Who can keep your books. There are things you can do to give the energy you need to your marriage, but you got to want to do that.
Tell your girlfriend you can't talk on the phone tonight.
Tell your girlfriend, I can't talk on the phone tonight. Not tonight. I ain't doing a girls trip every weekend.
Nah.
Not every weekend. So do the work. Take the love, get back on our topic. Take the love test. If you have not, I'm sorry, not the love language. If you haven't done it, Google it. It's been around for 30 years, so it should be easy to find. Take the test and see what you and your spouse got to take it. And then y'all read over it and talk about it. If you've taken it before, take it again.
It might surprise you.
It might surprise you.
Might surprise what language you actually thought you were and what.
And then it'll show you what your spouse needs, and it'll show you what you need too.
Right, absolutely.
It helps.
It helps you better understand your spouse.
Right.
So y'all can cut through.
So you might be buying and wasting.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wasting money buying perfume. She don't want that. You wasting money on clothes. He don't want that.
Not at all.
He want physical touch.
Right. Your spouse should be your best friend.
Should be your best friend. Y'all should be tight. But it takes time, like we said earlier.
Your ride or die.
Your ride or die. It takes time though, but you got to be willing to put it in.
Both of y'all have to be willing to put it in.
Right.
That's a whole nother topic though.
That's a whole nother topic.
Absolutely. So thank you all for rocking with us tonight. Thank you for joining us. We hope that this has helped someone. The topics that we've shared tonight. And also don't forget, I'm gonna say it one more time, about our Unlocked Marriage Retreat. And it is October the 11th through 13th. It is near Virginia Beach, Virginia. And it's going to be an intimate retreat. We're only taking 7 couples. So far, we have 3 spaces available. 3 spaces available. We're going to get into intimate conversation. We're going to have fun, of course. That's what we like to do.
We're going to have a great time.
We got a private chef coming. It's going to be amazing. right? So listen, if you haven't, or if you know someone, please share. We'll really appreciate that.
Right.
If you're interested, hit us up. Let us know. So it's only $225 deposit to hold deposit to hold your space. The total amount has to be paid by August 15th.
And the place we got is nice.
Yep, because I chose it, y'all.
Correction. Correction. I picked it out.
Right.
And I showed it to you because I knew you would love it.
Yes.
Okay. So
because you already know how I am.
I know her standards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyway, so yep. So join us, and if you know an early childhood educator, tell them about the drop-in early childhood summit. I am hosting
3 weeks away.
I am overjoyed and elated. It's going to be amazing. So I am looking forward to that. I got a lot of good gifts to give away.
Oh yeah.
And it's just going to be amazing. I can't even say enough about it. Only not because I'm hosting it, but you know, it is going to be amazing. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this. It's May 18th, Saturday, May 18th. Tickets are on Eventbrite. So please share if you know somebody that has child is in early childhood or daycare or child care and they love their teacher. This will be a great gift because Teachers Appreciation is the second week of May. So that will be a great gift to a teacher.
Right.
An early childhood teacher. So
thank you. And lastly, real quick, if you all have a topic that you would like for us to discuss, we say this, you know, let's say maybe you and your spouse can't come to a conclusion on it, or y'all just having a disagreement. You can email us. You can hit us up. We won't say your name. Inbox us, and we'll bring it here, not just for us to discuss and give our insight, but for those who are tuning in to give theirs also.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a great night. We love you all. Have a great week, guys. Until next time.